Chapter 27: The Pros and Cons of Time Travel. Barnaby Burke, Sepulchres' primary fixer and getter of things done, had been retired for some 20 years. He had spent the time living a much easier, and often simpler life of fishing, hiking, cycling, mountain biking, a whole host of activities that fell nowhere near the realm of what he had used to do, and for that was grateful. He had had enough of fixing problems. The time travel itself had been extremely enjoyable, so few people had the opportunity to experience it, and of the 20 or so people that had, he was probably the single most experienced traveler, but it had left its mark on him. The high-power energy fields that had made time jumps a reality in the first place had also affected his body at a fundamental level. Cutting-edge medical techniques had been developed just to keep him, and the other jumpers alive. An unforeseen byproduct of these new treatments had been the best and biggest surprise for all concerned, an almost complete stop to the aging process. And what was the marvelous new medical technique? Nanotech, microscopically small genetic and cellular engines that toiled every second of every day and night on each and every affected cell, repairing it, and not just to be as good as new, they were zeroing the aging clock on these cells with every repair. The irony was that time travel, which left untreated would have led to his demise, had now offered him the greatest of all prizes of all, a fountain of life. Once introduced to the body, the nanotech were there for keeps, so even now, 20 years after his last jump, they still toiled endlessly, repairing each and every one of the cells that made up his body. The power that drove the nanotech had been, of course, solarium. Yet another amazing discovery about the substance from outer space that seemed capable of anything. With some of the best modern medical marvels at his disposal, his age was now almost impossible to gauge. His time travel had only added to the problem of accurate determination due to the sheer number of times he had traveled back before his own birth. Measuring his life in days lived consecutively had turned out to be the most accurate. Whether those days themselves were consecutive, or even in the same century or millennia, was another question for another day. Today, though, was just like any other day of retirement: wake up, shower, stretch, breakfast, and await to see what activity called to him the most. Just as he was preparing his breakfast, the video phone notified him of an incoming call. "Sebastian Soller's calling," it declared. Barnaby took his cup of coffee and walked over to take the call. "Mr. Solers, great to see you. How are you?" he asked, looking into the video camera. "Barnaby, I'm good, thank you. It's great to see you too, and looking so well. I guess those nanotechs are still giving you their full attention," replied Sebastian. "Yes, they have a lot less to do nowadays, but they are still doing a great job. I feel 105 again," joked Barnaby. "Barnaby, I have a question for you, and it may need your attention?" "Okay, Mr. Solers, go on." "You remember the solarium find and dig in Greece in the early 21st? "Yes, sir, I do. Great work there. We've all got something to be grateful for in that." "Yes, we have, Barnaby, but I think we have a problem too. You see, I had a statue made with some of the remaining solarium. There had been more than enough for the experiments, so I commissioned a small statue that was on display here in the tower." "Yes, sir, I seem to remember being there when it was unveiled," replied Barnaby. "Yes, you were. Like me, you will still remember it. Everyone else, it seems, has never had the memories. It appears to have disappeared from this timeline. I have checked the dig reports too, and now they state only 45 kilograms of solarium was excavated, just enough for the experiments, but not enough for any statue." "Oh my God!" said Barnaby. "This can only mean one thing, sir." "Yes, Barnaby, someone has changed that event in some way that we have currently yet to understand, but it was clearly enough to wash through time, as we have seen." "What can I do, sir?" asked Barnaby. "I am sorry, but I have to ask you to take another time jump for me, for Sepulchre, and to try and identify who has it in for us, or was this some isolated coincidence?" "Of course, sir. When should I leave?" asked Barnaby. "I will have the time apparatus prepared as soon as possible, ready you to jump in 24 to 36 hours. Use the normal method to communicate your findings and I will respond accordingly," Yes, sir, I understand. Thank you, Barnaby, said Sebastian. Thank you for helping once again. With that, the video phone went black as the call ended. Barnaby immediately set about getting ready for the jump. He would have to research some ideas first to get the optimum entry point, locate some age-period clothes and money, and get ready for the shock. The punch of time travel was hard and intense. When you're used to it, it's fine, but he was not looking forward to his first in 20 years. There was no real way to prepare for that other than hope he didn't barf this time. As he looked up at the mirror in the bathroom, the title of that vintage film from the 20th he loved rolled over in his mind. Back to the Future. He loved that film, Marty and Doc exploring and often destroying timelines before finally putting them straight. To his knowledge, he'd never destroyed anything, just made Sepulchres rich and powerful with the bets he had delivered to the young Sebastian. This, however, may end up ruffling more than a few feathers. He hoped not, but you never know when it comes to time travel.